Dear future Enoch, this is technically coming a day late because calendars, but yesterday was the National Day for Truth and Reconciliation, which is Canada's newest holiday, that I don't get to take off because Ontario doesn't recognize it as a statutory holiday. But I do observe it, and I think it's important to understand the historical context behind it. I'll just show you the shirt I'm wearing. It's... hold on. Uh... You can see that, right? This is awkward. You know what? I bought this shirt 2 years ago. The design, which is a bit faded because I accidentally threw it into the dryer once, is called The Merman, and it was designed by Isaac Murdoch, an Ojibwe artist. So a bit of history about this holiday. It started in 2013 when Phyllis Webstad, an Indian residential school survivor, recounted a story when she was 6 years old. The Indian residential school system in Canada was a government-funded attempt at assimilating Indigenous peoples into Canadian society by means of converting them to Christianity and prohibiting them from speaking their Indigenous languages, aka killing the Indian in the child. Students at these schools were often subjected to physical and sexual abuse, and many were estranged from their families and cultures. Webstad's grandmother had bought her a new orange shirt, which she was quite proud of, but when she got to the St. Joseph's Mission Residential School where she was enrolled, the shirt was confiscated and never returned. The holiday was initially coined Orange Shirt Day, and the orange shirt became a symbol of how the residential school system tried to eradicate Indigenous cultures, identities, language, and customs. The day was formally recognized as a federal holiday when, in May 2021, 215 bodies were found in an unmarked grave in the Kamloops Indian Residential School, bringing further awareness to a history that this country has done a pretty poor job of teaching. I grew up being taught that this country was beautiful and amazing, and that it was a bastion of hope and freedom, and it is that. But it's a country with issues, it's a country with problems, and it's a country that tried to eradicate its Indigenous diversity for a melting pot of Canadianism. Today we celebrate Canada as being not a melting pot, as being a salad or a mosaic. But it's very disingenuous for us to pretend that this country has always been this way. When I was growing up, the school system largely stuck its head in the sand over this issue, and I didn't learn much about the residential school system until I was an adult. Which doesn't make any sense. What's the point of school if you don't learn important things? So that's one of the reasons why I wore orange yesterday, because what if I was the one who was losing his culture? I think, to at least have people show empathy and awareness of the issue, is a lot better than making insensitive remarks like this. Ugh. Yeah, this is a whole other can of worms. As a practicing Christian myself, it absolutely annoys me when the church doesn't acknowledge its role in the residential school system. First of all, an apology is about you doing something wrong, not the other way around. Sorry, but it's not an apology. It's textbook gaslighting. Secondly, residential schools were rooted in the idea that Indigenous peoples were savages and barbarians and needed to be civilized by Europeans, which is a terrible and racist idea to have. You're missing the whole point of your faith if you think Christianity is a perfectly acceptable excuse to justify cultural genocide, especially considering that Christianity was spread by Gentiles, literally non-Jews, which were regarded as barbarians. And you, of all people, should know that the church, as a human-run institution, is still incredibly sinful. Like, remember the time when we sold indulgences? Anyways, I'm reaching my preferred length for these videos, so future Enoch, I'll see you next week.